Hi, welcome back to Colorado and Company. I'm Denise Plant, and for almost a decade, we have seen the headlines and news coverage from the Middle East of the wars the United States are involved in. Many stories have focused on the injuries our soldiers returning home with traumatic injuries, including brain injuries. The challenges are many, but thankfully many groups back here at home are helping and coping. Operation TBI Freedom specializes in care coordination to provide the best individualized supports and resources for military personnel and veterans with traumatic brain injuries. Care coordination helps each individual with TBI manage crisis solutions, identify resources, and learn self-advocacy. Jennifer Anderson is the program manager for Operation TBI Freedom, and Justin Windle, he's an Operation TBI Freedom client. Nice to see both of you.
Thanks for having us this morning.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Before we get to his story, though, Jennifer, explain a little bit more. Give me an overview of Operation TBI Freedom.
Operation TBI Freedom is a specialized program within Denver Options. So we have over 19 years experience providing care coordination or case management. And we started this program back in 2008 to address the returning needs of service members from Iraq and Afghanistan who had sustained traumatic brain injuries. So within our program, we provide the care coordination. We also provide a connection to community resources. We partner with about 150 different nonprofits throughout the United States to address the needs of these individuals. And we also offer emergency funding and education about traumatic brain injury.
Okay, explain more to me about traumatic brain injury. What does somebody experience? What do they go through?
A traumatic brain injury is a jolt or a blow to the head that results either in unconsciousness or that may not even occur, but it results in some type of interruption of function of the brain. People in the civilian world most often think of it in terms of falls or car accidents or assaults or traumas, and in the current conflicts, oftentimes it comes from IED blasts. But a person may experience problems with their memory, they may be irritable, have problems with sleep, and not really be able to focus or function as they want to. So overall problems with cognition.
Okay, is this long term? Can they ever heal from traumatic brain injury?
According to most doctors, people with brain injuries oftentimes will recover fully within 3 months.
Okay.
But IED blasts are different because there hasn't been all the long-term exposure and research. So sometimes people don't know how that may how long it may take someone to recover. So people have really favorable outcomes with appropriate treatments, but some people just need some additional supports and education and interventions to help them with some of the deficits they still have.
And TBI does just that. They do care coordination. So what does that provide?
Care coordination is done by a certified brain injury specialist who also has a military background, and what they really do is connect these service members and their families to the resources and benefits that they are entitled to. That may be working within the VA or with the DOD down at Fort Carson to make sure we take advantage of all of the military benefits, but then also civilian benefits. Some people may not be able to return to work, so they may need to looking into Social Security benefits or other financial assistance to help them and their families adjust.
Okay, Justin, how were you injured?
Well, during my second deployment to Iraq, I like to call it 14 bad days.
Yeah.
As my vehicle was detonated on 13 times by 13 separate roadside bombs, and knocked unconscious a couple of times. And then I took a fall from a Black Hawk helicopter from somewhere between 25 and 35 feet in the air.
Oh.
And in that, it not only did it knock me out, but it broke my back in 3 places and messed up my feet and knees as well. So.
Oh my goodness, and you're so young to go through such a traumatic experience. Thank you for your service and everything you've done for our country.
Every day was an honor.
Yeah, oh my goodness. So tell me, how did you get connected with TBI?
Actually, it was through somebody that I really looked up to from a different unit. And I saw him having problems when he came back, and his wife actually was given a class at Fort Carson to the Warrior Transition Battalion on traumatic brain injuries, and I noticed that I was going through some of the same things, that I couldn't understand why it was happening to me. Mm-hmm. And so, she gave me the number, and I called him and got hooked up with him, and,
How did you benefit from TBI?
Well, it was really at a place in my life that I was searching for answers. I was grasping at anything to find out why, for instance, I couldn't remember if I just washed my hair. I'd forget where I was driving. Sticky notes became my best friend because I had to write everything down because otherwise I'd forget it, you know, where I was going. And for that, you know, they helped me to get a GPS for my vehicle, so I put in every destination that I would take on a daily basis, and so that if I did forget where I was going, that, you know, I'd have a reminder. But
So they helped you with those coping skills, those life skills that you desperately needed.
Yeah, and they also have the TBI Survivor Series, and it's, you know, it's classes on, you know, why things are happening to you, and you're around people that are affected just as you are, and it's something that, you know, you go from being capable of leading 30 troops to not being able to control your own life, and it's something, you know, that especially to service members who think that they're 10 feet tall and bulletproof, you know, it's just something that you go through, and you have to...
You have to reach out.
Yeah.
You have to get help, educate yourself to protect yourself. Why are soldiers, some of them, so reluctant to reach out and get help?
I think there's just generally a fear of wanting to disclose mental health issues or issues about traumatic brain injury. A lot of the people in our program want to be in the military for their long-term career, and so if they admit that they have some deficits, they believe that they won't be able to continue on with their career always. But the military has made huge strides in the screening processes and helping individuals get access to the treatment, so hopefully that stigma goes away.
And this not only affects the soldier, it affects the spouses, the children. Do you offer help to them?
We do. We look at the fact that at any given point we serve about 250 soldiers in our active services. But when you add in the spouses and the children and the parents, we really serve quite a few more. But if we don't support the families and individuals, they are the biggest natural support for the people in our program, so it's crucial that we help them. And that's everything from helping the spouses look at getting back to employment or education for themselves, getting the children and the spouses connected to the appropriate therapies and supports to help them learn more about dads or moms, TBI, but then also how do they as a family support one another.
Yeah, very, very important. I want to close on, you wrote a paper. It's called Reverse Culture Shock. It focuses on the unique needs of military families. Tell me more about that.
I think it really is interesting that these guys are coming back and they're separating from the military and trying to reintegrate back into society. But leaving the military is a pretty big change for people, even without a cognitive issue, because they're leaving this very structured environment that has pretty much everything they need right there. So as people leave, they need to develop new natural supports in family, and they also sometimes have the TBI or PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder, so they're struggling with some issues where they might just need some additional supports to help them get through and develop new natural supports for themselves.
Well, very important information. Thank you for coming on the show and
Thanks
sharing
for having
it.
us.
Thank you for sharing your story and everything you've done for our country. I'm sorry you went through all that.
I'd do it over again.
God bless you. That's sweet. All services offered by Operation TBI Freedom are free of charge and offered by certified brain injury specialists with military and case management experience. Now, their care coordinators listen to the specific needs of those military returning from war and to help them link to services and funding resources to which they are entitled to. Learn so much more online, operationtbifreedom.org. You can also call their Colorado office toll-free, 1-877-FUND-OTF. That's 1-877-386-3683. And there are offices in Denver, also Colorado Springs. Coming up next.